Hi guys, it's Mrs. Anderson here. It's a beautiful, really cold March afternoon. We just won the war for independence, and now we have to establish a government. What government was part of the Second Continental Congress during the actual war, and what government evolved out of it? Here we go, the Articles of Confederation, a confederation of states. That is a wonderful picture of Thomas Jefferson. The essential questions, I'd like you guys to read them on your own. However, please know we're going to go over the Articles of Confederation's pros and cons, what was something great that came out of it, and what were its main weaknesses. You guys already pretty much know this. The Continental Congress did not have the power to tax the colonies, and this is going to be a problem. Terms and people, I think you can go through these on your own. Please make flashcards if that seriously helps you to study, and for most people it does. Here we go. What form of national government did the Patriots create initially, and what events revealed that a new government was necessary? Remember, they wanted independence from a king. They wanted independence because they thought that the main control over them was too powering. They don't want a government like that again. The colonies just won their independence. They are leery of giving power to a central government that could be just like King George III and Parliament. The Patriots feared entrusting the Congress with too much power. Most authority remained with the states, but strong state governments and a weak national government will also lead to problems. Congress encouraged the former colonies to create state constitutions. Various formats would be used, and they're going to appear similar to what you guys already know of as our national government today. The men who established those state constitutions will get together in a constitutional convention and establish our government. Democratic patriots, like Thomas Paine, wanted more power for the common person. They favored weak state governments with most of their powers in a popularly elected legislature. Unicameral legislature, or one, having a single house with either a weak governor or no governor at all. They didn't want one person to have too much power. And a large House of Representatives with small districts so that the people had more control. However, conservative patriots like John Adams, the lawyer from Massachusetts who will be our first vice president, feared giving power to the common people. Conservatives favored a governor with broad powers, bicameral legislature or two houses, with an upper house or senate made up of wealthy, well-educated gentlemen who would balance a lower house elected by the common people. It was believed that the common people did not have the knowledge to vote. And if that's the case, if they vote, then you have mob rule. And our founding fathers were basically patricians, wealthy patricians who wanted to be careful of mob rule. And if you notice what just happened, the initial idea of more power to the national or the state governments is going to lead to the creation of political parties. And you guys will be having a seminar regarding the formation of political parties. Are they really important? Could we live without them? In Chapter 6. There was also debate over who should vote. Democratic states like Pennsylvania allowed all male taxpayers over the age of 21 to vote. Conservative states preserved colonial requirements of property ownership for voting. Women and slaves didn't get the vote until the 20th century, in most of the world anyway, and over time the states grew more democratic. The House of Representatives gained more power at the expense of the Senate and the governor. Please know, it's not that our founding fathers didn't want to be democratic. They didn't want more people to vote. They were unsure as to whether the common person had the knowledge. They did not have the internet and the media that we have today. Most new state constitutions guaranteed freedom of religion. From the various state constitutions will come the freedoms we are used to today, freedom of religion being one of them. That came basically from Thomas Jefferson writing the Virginia Statute for religious freedom. The Articles of Confederation was created by the Continental Congress. It will be the first national constitution which creates a loose confederation or League of States in 1777, while the war is still going on. Congress will draft the Articles of Confederation under John Dickinson of Pennsylvania, the same person that wrote the Olive Branch Petition. Congress's power was limited to prevent the problems experienced under Britain. Do we want a strong central government? The Articles of Confederation, it states that they were created in 1777. They are only officially ratified in 1781 because of a problem Maryland had with a territorial dispute. Maryland had no other land claims but disliked the fact that other states like Virginia did. We will talk more about this land dispute later. Under the Articles, government power was limited. And you guys should remember some of this. Congress implemented and enforced laws. Executive power was shared by committees. Each state had one vote in Congress. Minor issues were passed by a simple majority. However, major issues like declaring war required 9 states. Amendments to the Articles required the agreement of all 13 states. Very difficult for all 13 states to agree on anything. This government is weak at best. Congress had a limited role. Fear of a strong central government limited Congress's role. They could declare war or conduct foreign policy, administer relations with Indian nations. However, Congress could not raise money through taxes or regulate commerce between states or states and foreign nations. You could have states dealing with foreign countries on their own. The fear of a strong central government that would resemble the unfair rule of the British had to be avoided, but at what cost? If Congress couldn't raise taxes to support the army in the field and couldn't even represent the states in relations with foreign countries, this seems like a very weak confederation. Congress had the power to print money, called continentals, but the states were also printing money. The congressional money wasn't backed by anything, so inflation occurred. The continental was basically worthless, which led to the saying, not worth a continental. The Articles created a method to settle and govern the Northwest Territory. This territory was claimed by various states, such as New York, Massachusetts, Virginia, and Connecticut. This was a bone of contention between the landless states and the landed ones. Remember, Maryland refused to ratify the Articles because it was landless. The Articles will do many things wrong, but developing a way for territory to become states equal to the original 13 is one of its few achievements. And remember, these territories will be equal to the original 13 states. Surveyors will divide the territory into grid of lines north to south and east to west, establishing hundreds of townships. This is under the Land Ordinance of 1785. It will establish a method to distribute public land. Each township was subdivided into sections of 1 square mile to sell at $1 each. Many farmers couldn't afford the $1 an acre, and some land speculators got special deals. The rich got richer, but the land was available for everyone. In 1781, Virginia will cede her extra land in the Northwest Territory to Congress, and the other states will follow suit. The Land Ordinance of 1785 will begin the process of developing new states. It will distribute the land. The ordinance established new western towns and stipulated that they be 36 miles square, with 1 mile set aside for schools. Land went to the highest bidder. And this is an example of the grid system, which is still evident today. The organization of the ordinance is still obvious. A grid system makes for better organization, unlike the confusing streets of New England that we're so used to. The Northwest Ordinance will come next in 1787. Once the land is divided up, the Northwest Ordinance will set up a system to govern territories and create states. Congress established a territorial government and appointed a governor. Once there was 5,000 men, an assembly could be elected. The appointed governor retained veto power. Settlers were guaranteed freedom of religion, trial by jury, and rights of common law. So everything they were guaranteed in an established state, they could get in this territory. Once there were 60,000 residents, not necessarily men, but residents, a territory could apply for statehood. It abandoned the British model of keeping colonies permanently subordinate, since these territories would become equal to the established states. Notice it barred slavery. Oh, and it would have been nice if I had put that on the slide. I'm sorry. Oh, it's on the next one. Here we go. The Northwest Ordinance, I apologize. It barred slavery, required a Republican Constitution, promised settlers basic freedoms, and resulted in 5 new states. Please notice it did bar slavery. The slavery issue will be brought up time and again, and still masters will bring their slaves into the territories. The rest of this semester, we will see this issue compound the already huge difference between the North and the South. It's called sectionalism, and get used to it. European nations did not take the new nations seriously. This will be a problem. Britain denied American ships access to the British West Indies and the right to export goods to Britain on American ships. Spain forbade American trade with New Orleans. Please remember, New Orleans is what connects the Mississippi River to the Gulf of Mexico, an incredibly important city. And Britain kept soldiers in frontier forts located in the Northwest Territory. This is going to cause all kinds of problems. Technically, by the Treaty of Paris, those soldiers should be out of there. Growing problems led to calls for a revision of the Articles of Confederation. The nation's debt was mounting. The economic depression was deepening as debts, bankruptcies, and foreclosures grew. Foreign nations did not respect the United States. That's going to be a definite problem. Shays' rebellion demonstrated the weakness of the national government. Are you surprised that the most famous rebellion we talk about in 1787 happened in Massachusetts? Daniel Shays was a Revolutionary War hero. He led about 1,000 farmers in a raid on a federal arsenal to protest taxes and farm foreclosures. The revolt failed, but many people saw the unrest as a sign that a stronger central government was needed. This is the end of section 1. Section 2, we will establish a new government.